Have you ever felt invisible to women? As if there's an invisible barrier between you and success in relationships? Do you know that frustration of seeing other guys who don't seem to have anything special, getting female attention and admiration, while you struggle to have a decent conversation? Stop everything right now. What you're about to discover will completely change your love life. In the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the 5 fundamental pillars that separate men who naturally attract from those who struggle for attention. And the best part? You can start applying these techniques today and see results in less than a week. Are you ready to become the man women truly desire? Let me tell you a truth few men understand. Attraction isn't about looks, money, or status. Sure, those things can help, but they're not fundamental. Have you ever seen that average guy, maybe even below average in appearance, who's always surrounded by interesting women? Have you ever wondered what his secret is? The answer lies in the 5 pillars I'm about to share. These are the same principles that have transformed thousands of men from invisible to irresistible. And I'm not talking about manipulative techniques or cheap psychological games. I'm talking about profound changes that will elevate not just your love life, but your life as a whole. First, let's talk about magnetic presence. You know that guy who walks into a room and every head turns? The one who, without saying a word, already communicates power and confidence. It's not about physical appearance. It's about energy. It's about how you occupy the space around you. Most men walk into a place as if apologizing for existing. Shoulders slumped, eyes down, hesitant steps. You're communicating insecurity before you even open your mouth. Women pick up on that instantly. It's an evolutionary radar they've developed. Over millions of years, they need to quickly identify who is strong, confident, capable of protecting and providing. I'm not saying you need to be a caveman, but these instincts still exist and influence attraction. Magnetic presence begins with your posture. Shoulders back, chest open, chin slightly raised. It's not arrogance, it's confidence. Imagine an invisible line pulling you from the top of your head towards the sky. Your feet are firmly planted on the ground, but your body rises naturally. When you walk, every step has purpose. There's no desperate rush or forced slowness. It's a natural rhythm of someone who knows where they're going. When you speak, your voice resonates from your diaphragm, not your throat. Put your hand on your stomach and feel it expand when you breathe. That's the breath that projects confidence, a voice that comes from the center of your being, not from a throat tightened by anxiety. Practical exercise you can do right now. Before entering any space, pause for 3 seconds at the doorway. It doesn't matter if it's a coffee shop, a party, or the office. In those 3 seconds, breathe deeply. Feel the air filling your lungs, expanding your chest. Visualize yourself as the owner of the space, not arrogantly, but as someone who belongs, there, who has every right to be present. Enter calmly and with purpose. Keep your gaze on the horizon, not the floor. Make brief eye contact with people, a small smile, a nod. You're not seeking approval, you're acknowledging the presence of others as an equal. Observe how reactions change. At first it might feel strange, forced. Your brain will scream that everyone is looking, judging. That's a lie. Most people are too busy with their own insecurities to pay attention to you. And those who do notice, they perceive confidence, not arrogance. Women especially are biologically programmed to detect confidence. It's a primitive survival instinct. The confident man is perceived as a protector, provider, leader. I'm not saying you need to be the CEO of a company or an MMA fighter. I'm saying you need to occupy your space in the world without apologizing. But here's the crucial warning. Fake confidence is worse than shyness. It needs to come from within. You can't fake magnetic presence for long. People, especially women, have a keen radar for detecting incongruities. If your body language says confidence but your eyes show fear, she'll notice. If your voice projects strength but your hands tremble, she'll notice. That's why true magnetic presence is built from the inside out. You build real confidence through small daily victories. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you make a deposit into your self-confidence bank account. Promise to wake up at 6 a.m. Wake up at 6 a.m. Promise to work out today. Go work out. Promise to read 10 pages. Read the 10 pages. It seems simple, but it's profound. Every promise kept is proof to your subconscious that you are reliable, that your word has value, and when you trust yourself, others feel it. Every time you overcome a fear, no matter how small, you expand your comfort zone. Afraid of public speaking? Start by asking a question in a meeting. Afraid of approaching women? Start by asking a stranger for directions. Afraid of rejection? Start by exposing yourself to small, controlled rejections. Ask for an absurd discount at a store. Suggest a crazy idea at work. The goal isn't to get what you asked for, it's to desensitize your nervous system to rejection. When rejection loses its power to paralyze you, you become unstoppable. And here's the secret nobody tells you. Magnetic presence isn't about being the loudest or the most extroverted. Have you noticed how truly powerful men are often the quietest in the room? They don't need to prove anything to anyone. Their presence speaks for itself. It's about being completely present and comfortable in your own skin. When you stop trying to impress and start simply being, something magical happens. People are drawn to your authenticity. It's like a magnet. The more you try to force it, the more you repel. The more you relax into who you are, the more you attract. There's a powerful exercise few people know about. It's called presence meditation. Sit in a public place. It could be a mall, a park, a food court. Close your eyes for a few seconds and feel your body. Feel its weight in the chair, your feet on the ground, the air entering and leaving your lungs. Now open your eyes and observe your surroundings without judgment. Don't analyze, just observe. See people passing by, the sounds, the colors. Stay present, anchored in your body. Do this for 5 minutes a day for a week. You'll notice a subtle but powerful shift in how you occupy space. You stop living in your head and start living in the world. And that, my friend, is irresistibly attractive. Second, the art of hypnotic conversation. Most men think they need to have the best pickup lines or the most interesting topics. Let me tell you a secret. Women don't fall in love with what you say, but with how you make them feel. Hypnotic conversation is about making her feel heard, understood, special. It's about creating a bubble where only the two of you exist, where time seems to stop, where she forgets to check her phone because she's completely engrossed in the interaction. It starts with eye contact. Not that creepy serial killer stare that doesn't blink, but a present, interested gaze that says, "You have my complete attention." There's a technique called the gaze triangle. You subtly alternate your gaze between her two eyes and her mouth, forming a triangle. It's subtle, almost imperceptible, but it creates a powerful romantic tension. When she speaks, maintain eye contact for about 70% of the time. When you speak, you can reduce it to 50%. This creates a dynamic where she feels you are genuinely interested in what she has to say. But eye contact is just the beginning. The real power lies in how you listen. Most men listen to reply. They're so worried about appearing interesting that they barely pay attention to what she's saying. They're formulating the next clever line, the next impressive story. That's a fatal mistake. When you listen to understand, not to reply, you create a deep connection. She feels like she's finally found someone who truly sees her, not just her appearance, but her essence. Ask open-ended questions that make her think and feel. Instead of, "Do you like to travel?" ask, "What was the travel experience that most changed your perspective on life?" See the difference? The first question generates a yes or no, an automatic answer she's given 1,000 times. The second opens up a universe of possibilities. She needs to access memories, emotions, reflections. She's sharing something unique, not repeating a social script. Other examples of powerful questions. If you could have dinner with anyone, living or dead, who would it be and what question would you ask? What was a moment when you felt most alive? What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? What advice would you give your 10-year-ago self? These questions reveal values, dreams, fears, experiences. They quickly create emotional intimacy. And when she answers, don't immediately shift the focus to yourself. That's another common mistake. She tells you about her trip to Peru and you immediately start talking about your trip to Thailand. No, go deeper. What was that like? What did you feel when you reached the top of Machu Picchu? Did that change something in you? Would you go back? You're creating layers of connection, not competing for who has the better story. Use the emotional mirroring technique. When she shares something, reflect the emotion, not just the content. If she says, "It was scary to skydive for the first time," don't reply, "Yeah, extreme sports are scary." Instead, say, "That must have been an intense mix of fear and excitement." You're showing that you understand not just what happened, but how she felt. This creates a feeling of being truly understood. The power of silence is underestimated. After a deep question, let the silence hang for a few seconds. It's uncomfortable at first. Your impulse will be to fill the void with words. Resist. Silence creates tension and intimacy. She'll fill that silence with something real, something vulnerable. People reveal their truths in the spaces between words. And when she shares something personal, don't minimize it or try to solve it. That's a classic masculine mistake. She tells you about a problem at work, and you immediately go into problem solver mode. You should do this. You should talk to that person. Stop. She doesn't want a consultant. She wants connection. Validate. That must be frustrating to deal with. I can imagine how you felt. That shows a lot of strength on your part. You're creating a safe space for her to be authentic. If you're finding these tips valuable, give a like right now. Comment what your biggest challenge has been when talking to women. Your experience can help other men in the same situation, and don't forget to subscribe for more transformative content. Advanced technique. Cue master. Subtle mirroring. When she crosses her legs, wait a few seconds and do the same. When she touches her hair, you adjust your posture. When she leans forward, you lean forward too. Don't be obvious, be subtle. If she consciously notices, it will seem strange. But unconsciously, our brain interprets similarity as connection. That's why long-term couples often move in sync. You're accelerating that process. Another crucial aspect, use her name. Studies show that hearing our own name activates pleasure centers in the brain. Don't overdo it, but punctuate the conversation with her name. That's fascinating, Maria. What do you think about that, Anna? It's personal, intimate, creates connection. Share gradual vulnerabilities. Don't dump your traumas on the first date, but show that you're human too. If she talks about a fear, share one of yours. If she talks about a dream, reveal one of yours. Emotional reciprocity creates bonds, but always keep the focus more on her than on yourself. The ideal ratio is 70-30. She talks 70% of the time, you 30%. But always remember, hypnotic conversation isn't manipulation. It's about creating a genuine connection where both feel seen and valued. If you're using these techniques just to get something from her, she'll sense it. The energy of manipulation is different from the energy of authentic connection. One repels, the other attracts magnetically. Third, calculated mystery. Women love an enigma. Think of the most attractive male characters in cinema. James Bond, Don Draper, Tyler Durden. What do they have in common? Mystery. You never quite know what they're thinking, what their next move will be. It's not about being dishonest or evasive, but about having depth, layers that reveal themselves gradually. Most men vomit their entire life story on the first date. They talk about all their problems with their ex, all their insecurities at work, all their plans for the future. It's like watching a movie knowing every plot twist. Where's the fun in that? Calculated mystery is about revealing yourself strategically. Share enough to create connection, but always leave something in the air. It's like a good TV series on Netflix. Each episode reveals something new, but ends with a cliffhanger that makes you want to watch the next one. When she asks about your job, don't give a 1-hour lecture about every detail of your day. Give an intriguing answer that makes her want to know more. I work helping people discover their potential is much more interesting than, I've been a personal development coach for 5 years, I'm NLP certified, and I mainly work with executives from mid-sized companies. See the difference? The first creates curiosity, the second kills any mystery. Use the incomplete story technique. Start telling something interesting and stop at the climax. That reminds me of that time in Barcelona, but that story's too wild for right now. You've planted a seed of curiosity. She'll want to hear that story. You've created a reason for a next date, or during the conversation she'll insist you tell it. If she insists a lot, give in, but make it seem like she earned that story. Okay, you convinced me, but you can't judge. Now she's emotionally invested in the story before you even begin. Have intriguing references. Casually mention interesting people you know, unique places you've visited, unusual experiences you've had. But don't elaborate unless she asks. My friend who's a Buddhist monk told me something interesting the other day. When I was living in Buenos Aires, that time I almost got arrested in Moscow. These are curiosity hooks. If she bites, you elaborate. If not, you leave it hanging, creating an aura of an interesting life and rich experiences. Calculated contradictions also create mystery. Be strong, but gentle, confident but humble, adventurous but responsible, intellectual but practical. These apparent contradictions create depth. She can't put you in a box, categorize you easily. You're complex, multifaceted, and that's fascinating to the female brain, which loves to unravel emotional puzzles. But the most important aspect of calculated mystery is having a genuinely interesting life. There's no point in faking mystery if your life is a predictable work-home Netflix routine. Develop unusual hobbies, learn unexpected skills, travel to off-the-beaten-path places. Read books most people don't read. Have your own opinions. Don't just repeat what you saw on YouTube. Cultivate friendships with diverse people. The richer your inner and outer life, the more naturally mysterious you become. Use strategic silence in messages. Don't always reply immediately. Don't be available 24/7. If she texts at 2 p.m., reply at 6 p.m. If she sends a 5-minute audio, reply with a short text. It's not childish games. It's about showing that you have a life beyond her, that you're not sitting around anxiously waiting. For every message, mysterious men have important things going on, projects, friends, commitments. They don't make the woman the center of their universe, because they themselves are the center of their own universe. But here's the crucial balance. Mystery isn't about being cold, distant, or cruel. When you're together, be present and warm. Give quality attention, but keep parts of yourself private. Don't recount every minute of your day. Don't share every thought that crosses your mind. Don't send 50 messages a day. Quality over quantity, always. Disappear occasionally. Not for days without explanation. That's childish. But have periods where you're genuinely busy with your life. A weekend hiking with friends where there's no signal. A night you turn off your phone to focus on a project. Mornings you dedicate to your routine without distractions. When you reappear, don't give detailed explanations. It was an amazing weekend is enough. If she wants details, share them little by little, savoring each revelation. Calculated mystery also applies to the future. Don't overpromise too soon. Don't talk about marriage on the 3rd date. Don't plan vacations together after 2 weeks. Keep the future open, full of possibilities. Let's see where this goes is much more intriguing than you're the woman of my life, and we're going to get married and have 3 kids. One creates adventure and expectation, the other creates pressure and predictability. 4th, strategic vulnerability. This goes against everything you've learned about being a strong, unshakable man, but listen carefully. Showing calculated vulnerability is one of the most powerful tools for deep connection. I'm not talking about crying on the first date, recounting your childhood traumas. I'm not talking about dumping your insecurities and fears as if she were your therapist. I'm talking about chosen moments where you slightly lower your guard and show your humanity. Strategic vulnerability is about sharing from a place of strength, not weakness. It's the difference between I'm a failure who can't keep a job and there was a time when I struggled to find my professional purpose, but that journey taught me what I truly value in work. See the difference? First is victimhood that repels. The second is vulnerability that connects. Share fears you've overcome, not those that still paralyze you. I used to be terrified of public speaking, but I decided to face it. And today I can express myself with confidence is attractive. I'm so afraid of public speaking that I sweat and stutter is repellent. Strategic vulnerability shows journey, growth, overcoming. She sees that you're human, but also that you're strong enough to face your demons. Admit when you don't know something. Most men fake knowledge to impress. Oh yes, I know that author, when they've never heard of them. That's insecurity masked as confidence. Confident vulnerability is saying, I've never heard of that author, tell me more about them. You show that you're secure enough not to know everything. that you're open to learning, that you don't need to be the expert on every subject. Share moments of overcome doubt. When I started my business, there were nights when I questioned if I was making the right choice, but I learned to trust the process, and today I see that every doubt was a step towards clarity. This shows that you're human but resilient, that you go through difficulties but aren't defined by them. The timing of vulnerability is crucial. First, you establish your strength, presence, value. She needs to see you as a capable and confident man. Then you temper it with moments of humanity. It's like a great action movie. The hero first shows that he's strong and capable. Only then do we see his wounds, his fears, his losses. This makes him three-dimensional, real, worthy of rooting. For if the movie started with the hero crying and insecure, we'd lose interest. Use the escalating vulnerability technique. Start with small vulnerabilities and deepen them as the connection develops. First date. I confess I'm not the best dancer in the world. Third date. My relationship with my dad was complicated, but we're rebuilding. 10th date. Losing my best friend taught me to value every moment. It's a gradual escalation of emotional intimacy. But here's the secret. Strategic vulnerability isn't unidirectional. When you share something vulnerable, observe her reaction. Does she lean in emotionally or pull away? Does she share something in return or change the subject? Does she show empathy or judgment? How she responds to your vulnerability reveals a lot about her as a potential partner. Vulnerability can also be about hopes and dreams. Sometimes I imagine dropping everything and traveling the world for a year shows a dreamy, adventurous side. I dream of writing a book someday, even if no one reads it, reveals creativity and courage. These types of vulnerabilities are aspirational, showing depth without appearing weak. Use physical vulnerability wisely, a slight blush when she compliments you, a shy smile after an intimate moment, the way you look at her when you think she's not watching. These micro-physical vulnerabilities create a powerful dance of seduction. She sees that you are affected by her, but in a controlled, not desperate way. Strategic vulnerability also includes asking for help occasionally, not for things you should solve on your own, but for areas where her opinion adds value. You have good taste. What do you think of this shirt? Do you know a good Italian restaurant? How do you handle situations? You show that you value her perspective, that you don't need to have all the answers, but never ever use vulnerability as emotional manipulation. Don't share sad stories to gain pity. Don't exaggerate difficulties to seem deeper. Don't invent traumas to create connection. Women have a keen radar for detecting emotional manipulation. Use real vulnerability, strategically but always authentically. Fifth, and perhaps the most important and transformative of all, emotional detachment. This doesn't mean being cold, distant, or not caring. It means not desperately needing a specific outcome. It's the supreme paradox of attraction. The less you need, the more you attract. It's the difference between holding sand in a closed fist and letting it rest in an open palm. The more you squeeze, the more it slips away. The more you relax, the more it stays. When you're on a date thinking, I need her to like me, I need this to work out, she's my last chance, you exude desperation like a cheap perfume. Women sense that from a mile away. It's repellent on a visceral level. Now, when you think, let's see if we're compatible, I'm curious to get to know her better. If it works out, great. If not, next. You exude power. It's a subtle shift in mindset that transforms absolutely everything. Emotional detachment means that your happiness, your worth, your inner peace don't depend on her approval or any woman's. You are complete on your own. You have a rich life, purpose, friends, hobbies, dreams. She would be a wonderful bonus in an already amazing life, not the salvation of a miserable existence. When you come from a place of fullness, not emptiness, your energy is completely different. Think about how you act when you don't want anything from someone. Relaxed, natural, authentic, funny. Now think about how you act when you desperately want something. Tense, calculated, trying to impress, filtering every word. Which version do you find more attractive? Emotional detachment allows you to be the first version consistently, even with women you're intensely attracted to. Fundamental daily practice. Before any interaction with women, sit in silence for 5 minutes. Breathe deeply, and mentally repeat, "I am enough." Not as an empty mantra, but feeling the truth of it in every cell. Mentally list 3 things that make your life valuable regardless of any woman. It could be your vibrant health, your loving family, your meaningful work, your loyal friends, your exciting projects, your growth journey. Anchor yourself in that reality. You're not going to the date to beg for validation. You're going to share your abundance. When you have emotional detachment, rejection stops being devastating and simply becomes information. She's not interested? Perfect, you weren't compatible. It's not about you being inadequate, it's about fit. It's like trying on a shoe. If it doesn't fit, it doesn't mean the shoe is bad or your foot is defective. It's simply not the right match. Next, this mindset is liberating because it removes the ego's weight from the equation. Detachment allows you to set and maintain standards. Most men accept any behavior because they're desperate. She cancels last minute for the 3rd time. That's fine, whenever you can. She spends the entire date on her phone. Must be important. She treats you disrespectfully. She must be having a bad day. No. When you have detachment, you can say, "That doesn't work for me," and truly move on. And paradoxically, that drastically increases your attractiveness. Advanced detachment technique. Visualize the worst-case scenario and accept it. Before the date, imagine being rejected. Feel the emotions briefly. Then remember, so what? You'll wake up tomorrow, the sun will rise, your life goes on. When you accept the worst case, you remove fear. And when fear exits the stage, your best self appears. Detachment also manifests in how you handle contact. Don't keep checking your phone every 5 minutes waiting for a reply. Send the message and forget about it. Go live your life. If she replies, great. If not, also great. You have more important things going on. This isn't faking it. It's reality when you build a rich life. But here's the crucial distinction. Detachment isn't indifference. When you're with her, be present. Give full attention, show genuine interest, but don't depend on the outcome. It's like appreciating a sunset. You're fully present, absorbing the beauty, but you're not desperate for the sun not to set. You appreciate the moment knowing it's temporary. That's the essence of healthy detachment. Emotional detachment also allows you to be more authentic. When you don't need her to like you, you can be completely yourself. Your real opinions, your natural humor, your quirks. If she doesn't like it, it's not a match. Simple as that. But when she does like it, it will be the real you, not a performance. And that creates much deeper and more lasting connections. Now I'm going to share something few men understand. These 5 pillars aren't isolated techniques. They form a synergistic system where each element amplifies the others. Magnetic presence. Without hypnotic conversation is silent intimidation. Hypnotic conversation without calculated mystery is predictable entertainment. Mystery without vulnerability is cold distance. Vulnerability without detachment is emotional neediness. But when you combine all 5, you become a force of nature in the world of relationships. Imagine for a moment, you walk into a room with magnetic presence. Women notice. You start a conversation that makes them feel seen and special. They lean in wanting more. You strategically reveal layers of yourself, always keeping something intriguing in the air. They want to discover more. You show your humanity at the right moments, creating deep emotional connection. They feel safe to be vulnerable too. And through all of this, you maintain a healthy detachment that communicates abundance, not neediness. You become irresistible not through tricks or manipulation, but by being the best and most authentic version of yourself. If this content is opening your mind, share in the comments which pillar you most need to develop. Your honesty can inspire other men on the same journey. And subscribe now so you don't miss the next videos that will delve deeper into each of these pillars. I want to be brutally honest with you now. Everything I've shared is useless if you don't act. Knowledge without action is just intellectual. Entertainment. You can watch 1,000 videos, read 1,000 books, but if you don't get out there and practice, nothing changes. Transformation happens in the discomfort of action, not in the comfort of theory. Every awkward approach teaches you more than 10 perfect videos. Every rejection strengthens you more than 100 positive affirmations. Every moment of vulnerability frees you more than 1,000 therapy sessions. The journey begins with a decision. The decision to stop accepting less than you deserve, to stop settling for scraps of attention, to stop chasing women who don't recognize your worth, to stop pretending to be someone you're not to please others. It's the decision to become the man you know you can be, not for them, but for you. Because when you become the best version of yourself, attracting quality women is just a natural consequence. It will be uncomfortable at first. Your brain will resist. Old patterns will try to pull you back. The voice of fear will scream that you're making a fool of yourself. It's normal, it's expected, it's a sign that you're growing. Real growth always happens outside your comfort zone. If it were easy, everyone would do it. But you're not everyone. You're a man who decided to stop accepting a mediocre life in relationships. Let me tell you what to expect. In the first few weeks, it's going to feel strange. Maintaining an upright posture will be tiring. Making eye contact will feel intense. Asking deep questions will seem invasive. Maintaining mystery will feel artificial. Being vulnerable will feel dangerous. Having detachment will feel impossible. That's normal. Keep going. Your nervous system is recalibrating. Your neural pathways are being rewritten. It's like learning a new language. At first, every word is an effort. Then it flows naturally. After a month of consistent practice, something changes. The new posture becomes natural. Eye contact feels comfortable. Conversations flow more easily. You start to notice different glances, more frequent smiles, longer conversations, small victories that fuel your confidence. After 3 months, you barely recognize your old self. What seemed impossible is now natural. What caused anxiety now generates excitement. But here's the important warning. Don't get addicted to the techniques. They are training wheels, not a final destination. The goal is to integrate these principles so deeply that they become part of who you are, not something you do. When magnetic presence is your natural way of existing, not a performance. When deep conversation is how you connect with everyone, not just attractive women. When mystery is the result of a rich life, not calculation. When vulnerability is authentic, courage, not strategy. When detachment is real inner peace, not pretense. And here's the final truth few will tell you. The goal isn't to get all women. It's to attract the right women for you. When you authentically become your best self, you naturally repel the incompatible ones and magnetize the aligned ones. It's a natural filter. The superficial ones will find you too intense. The insecure ones will be intimidated by your confidence. The dramatic ones will find you too distant. Perfect. They are self-selecting themselves out of your life. Making space for quality women who recognize and value what you offer. I want to leave you with a specific and measurable challenge. Choose one pillar, just one, and practice it intensely for the next 7 days. If you choose magnetic presence, spend a week focusing on posture, eye contact, breathing, occupying space. If you choose hypnotic conversation, make a point of having one deep conversation a day, even with friends or family. If you choose calculated mystery, practice revealing less, creating more intrigue. If you choose strategic vulnerability, share one small vulnerability per day. If you choose emotional detachment, meditate on your completeness each morning. Document your journey. Write in a journal what worked, what was difficult, what you learned. Note the micro changes, how people reacted differently, how you felt, what resistances emerged, what victories you achieved. After 1 week, choose another pillar, then another. In 5 weeks, you'll have completed a full cycle, then start integrating them all simultaneously. It's a process, not an event. It's a journey of transformation, not a magic trick. Always remember, you're not broken and needing fixing. You're not inadequate and needing to become adequate. You are a diamond covered in layers of social conditioning, fear, and false beliefs. These 5 pillars are simply the tools to remove those layers and reveal your natural brilliance. The attractive, confident, magnetic man already exists within you, always has. You're just remembering how to access him. The right women will recognize that authentic brilliance. They'll be attracted not by a performance, but by your essence. They'll want to be part of your journey, not be its destination. They'll add to your already complete life, not fill a void. They'll choose you every day, not out of need, but out of genuine desire. And you'll do the same, because when two complete beings unite, they create something extraordinary. Not codependency, but interdependence. Not need, but choice. Not desperation, but shared abundance. Your journey of transformation begins the moment you decide you deserve more, that you are capable of more, that you are ready for more, not tomorrow, not Monday, not when you feel ready, now. Because the brutal truth is, you'll never feel completely ready. Fear will never completely disappear. Doubt will always whisper. But courage isn't the absence of fear, it's action despite fear. And every courageous action builds the man you are destined to be. So stand up, straighten those shoulders, breathe deeply from your core, look in the mirror and recognize the potential that has always been there. Today is the day you stop watching. Life pass by and start living it fully. Today is the day you stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing. Today is the day you reclaim your authentic masculine power. The world is waiting to meet the real you. The right women are waiting to recognize you. But most importantly, you are waiting to become him. The wait is over. Your transformation begins now. The question isn't whether you can. The question is, will you?